guys, this is Josh Gilbert from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Just a real life working musician, and haven't been too consistent on the YouTubes and on social media for a good many years. You know, life happens. My goal this year is to try to get a little more consistent and to bring you guys some content, some updates, and a kind of a window into the world that I live, which is pretty crazy. It's not normal. But maybe some of you out there, especially if you're younger, are working musicians and kind of want to, you know, make a living out of it or make your own path, and that's kind of what it is nowadays. So I hope to be a little bit of an encouragement in that, maybe share some wisdom along the way on how I do a few things and all that. And in general, just also updates on what is happening and kind of creativity God's given me and the opportunities that I have. If you could just lift me up in prayer, and yeah, just want to spread the word about that, and a little bit of music here and there as well. So I just got back from a Iowa and South Dakota tour. It consisted of some opportunities that I felt led to go and share my music for, and places I've been before. So we went to Central Iowa to start out, which is pretty crazy, straight from Tennessee. I don't recommend that trip, but because of all the other things I've got going on and all the things I have to juggle, I didn't really have weeks to get out there. So my drummer, Mason, he was willing to come along, even if we had to play acoustic or something. And then I eventually twisted my brother's arm to come along and play bass for me, so he put together a trio. Now, for those of you who may not remember, I got rid of my old big van, which is a big 18-passenger church van, and I had for nearly a decade. Throughout the yearly wear and tear, it kept going for a long time, and I was able to haul everything. I didn't even have to bring a trailer. I would just throw stuff in it and all that. Yeah, I sold that last year, so I kind of just been rocking acoustic and duo and stuff through a minivan. So we decided to load up that minivan for the first time with all the gear and all of us, all three of us, in a good while. And so we did that. And it took a good few hours to try to figure out Jenga style how to get it in there. And yeah, you know, you save a little on gas, but you know, you lose a lot of room. Yeah, we got a few things in here. Hello, hello.
Yo, yo.
Oh man, that light's bright, sorry. Yeah, we've got a monitor rig, a couple speakers, cabinet, the amp. Drums are next, once we get this in here. And some guitars.
Weight of occupants in cargo should not exceed 1,340 pounds. 1340.
Oh shoot.
Occupants and cargo should not exceed 1340. And I would probably even round that down and say 1,000.
I don't know. In the end, I don't know if we saved a whole lot more on gas because of the weight. We debated on carrying a few more pieces of equipment for our in-ear monitors and things like that, but we couldn't bring speakers. We couldn't really bring a sound system. And to top it all off, my sound system is broke and it's in the shop right now. It's got some electrical issues, so it's getting fixed. And yeah, it was just pretty crazy just to begin with, just to get go. Not to mention, 2 days before, I forgot that I had something scheduled in Bristol, Virginia. So I literally had to travel to Bristol, Virginia, which is a beautiful place, by the way, and play at the Bristol Hotel, on the top of the hotel, which is a beautiful spot, by the way, if you ever get to check it out. It is awesome. Yeah, Bristol Hotel, Bristol, Virginia. We got to get all this stuff up to the top of there. Huh. Sounds like they need to tune it up a little bit. Oh well, it was supposed to thunderstorm later, so we decided to make do and set up inside. And it's better safe than sorry. But we're gonna check out this view before it gets crazy. So yeah, here's the rooftop view. That is pretty cool. Literally had to play the 2 days before there and drive all the way back home and get home late in the middle of the night, and then spend the next day trying to pack and prepare and get ready, and then leave out at the crack of dawn. Well, good morning. We left out this morning at 4 a.m. for Iowa and South Dakota. Whew, man, drove through a lot of rain. We decided to not pack some equipment because of weight. We got it packed up in here pretty well. So we're gonna make do with some alternate equipment. Now, I don't recommend planning like this. This just happens to be my sort of MO. And not that I wanted it that way, just sometimes stuff doesn't work out the way you think, and you just got to be able to roll with it. You got to decide, okay, am I going to just go with these opportunities? Am I going to give it my all? And people are counting on me. And yeah, I might be exhausted. Yeah, it might not be like the best circumstances, but you know what? It's going to be a great time. It's going to be an encouragement, and I'm going to get to play music. And also share, God's love through music and through a little bit of encouragement here and there. And so you just gotta weigh those things out as you might decide to do these types of things with your musical journey. But anyways, so that's what we did. We ended up making it to Central Iowa. By the grace of God, thank God. We are way out here. There's nothing but a cornfield as far as I can see. It's like we're in the movie Signs. Or what's that? Oh gosh. Woo! Wow, it's bright. You're rolling. Thank God. We made it. We made it. We are in Iowa. This is it.
All of Iowa right here.
Yeah. It's the city of Brighton. The town of Brighton. I do think it's got bright green grass.
Yeah. So what are we doing here?
We're gonna have a concert. Hopefully. I think we will. Look at this giant chair. You should go try it out, mister.
Hey.
Hello. That's amazing. Peaceful, quiet, not much there, but got a chance to visit and play a concert in the downtown city park and play for a group of local Celebrate Recoveries, actually. If you know anything about Celebrate Recovery, they're a counseling, it's a recovery ministry-based group where they get to take people who have been out of drugs and addiction and, all sorts of things, and kind of help them along the way and give them a group to kind of walk with them on their journey of stepping out of the destructive habits and sinful things that have been in their life. And so it's a really powerful ministry and organization, and I highly recommend looking into it or supporting it if you get a chance. But yeah, so it was great to catch up with all of them. And the haunting thing was that I went back to the place where I originally tore my ACL a few years back. And I debated a long time about going back to this place. And you better believe there was nonstop jokes and people trying to tell me to not jump off things. We're not jumping off of speakers here.
Not allowed.
Or so.
New band rule.
Yeah. So, yeah, no jumping off speakers this time. So, I don't know, but I did it. We decided to do it. I love the people. It was great to connect with them, share the gospel through music, and just all around a great time. And it was fine. I didn't get hurt or anything. I kept it real chill. I tried to take my time. Wow. mean, we have a lot of fans in Iowa. It's pretty cool. The next morning, we made our way for Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So, yeah, that wasn't a small trek either. We made our way straight up to South Dakota and to Sioux Falls, which is not too far past the border. We got a chance to do a concert for Union Gospel Mission in downtown Sioux Falls. They have the men's center there with a big old parking lot, and they had a barbecue and fed all the men in the housing and on the streets, and we got to play on the street for them. And I really love that. That's a great time. I feel like I'm giving back, and it's definitely much appreciated. And it's great to catch up with a lot of friends that we have there. And they've got a great organization, a great ministry going on. Really grateful for what they do there. It's pretty awesome. However, it happened to be the absolute hottest day of the year. Like, it was insane. Like, what are the odds? So we showed up at the hottest day of the year in downtown Sioux Falls, and it's 99 degrees. The humidity's kind of low, but it was so dry. My lips were like sticking to each other, and I could barely open my mouth. And I just was chugging water. And to top it all off, there were these huge winds passing through, and wind gusts of up to like 30 and 40 miles an hour. So while we're playing almost with our eyes closed because of how much dust is flying over everything. I mean, luckily none of my stuff's pretty dirty, but you know, it still works, I guess. It's worth the cleaning, but yeah, it was pretty wild. It was pretty challenging, I'd say. And that's another thing you might consider. Those of you musicians out there, you know what I'm talking about, where you get an opportunity and you go and play for something, especially outdoors. It's very unpredictable. I find playing concerts outdoors in city parks or wherever it is, festivals, if you've got enough time to prepare, I find it to be pretty rewarding, because I like the idea of people coming and going, meeting new faces. You know, there's a lot less pressure because, I didn't have to sell all these tickets or whatever, and people are just having a good time. But then you also might be able to catch the ears of somebody new, somebody who didn't know who you were, and gets to hear your music for the first time. And also, I love the opportunity to share the gospel, and that's what I love about doing these things. But they're often very unpredictable, and you never know what the weather's going to be like. You never know what the circumstances will be like. The terrain will even be covered. So last time we went, we set up under this little tree shrub in the parking lot, kind of on the edge of it, and we did that same thing this time. And that was just enough covering, just to keep the sun from beating down on our faces too hard. Anyways, it went really well. Before you know it, 2 hours went by like that, and we were saying goodbye to everybody and packing up. We are going to get refueled. It's just, there's no alternative, really. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good crowd, good turnout. I think a lot of people stuck around despite the incredible heat. Time. And so that's my favorite thing about doing live performances and traveling and being outdoors. Yeah, they're not always fun and they don't tick all the boxes, but you always meet some great people, always meet some interesting people, and you get a chance to connect with a human. And they're most likely going to be the person who goes and looks up your music and follows up with you and says, "Hey, how's it going?" Or they comment, or, "Hey, come back here. I've got some friends I'm bringing next time." Or maybe they're like, "I'm going to pray for you." And they keep up with you. Those tend to be the most rewarding things about these types of experiences. You meet a lot of great people. You meet a lot of, friends. I make a lot of friends. And it's awesome. I love that part of it. Next, we had planned to go up the eastern portion of South Dakota to Aberdeen, and that was our main gig for that whole weekend. was a festival in downtown Aberdeen. And yeah, so we left out, we made our way there and got there that afternoon. It also happened to be the hottest day of the year there as well, and it was insanely hot. Man, very dry. And we just sat in the shade for the majority of the time, didn't even get our equipment out, and left it in the car for a good bit of time until it was kind of our turn to take the stage. There was a church there in downtown Aberdeen that put on a festival. They had a whole rig, they had tents, they had a whole stage and everything they brought in, and it was great. It was wonderful, and we got a chance to meet a few people, and I have a good friend there who's let us come and do concerts and has hosted us in downtown Main Street of Aberdeen a few times, and that's been a blast as well. So this was great. It was a different experience. As it got closer and closer to our time to perform, as we were hanging out behind the stage, I noticed one of the crew members. He lifted up a big case with a lot of weight in it to try to stabilize some of the rigging and some of the truss from blowing around in the wind too much. And as he did so, I guess he passed out or exerted some energy and had a heat stroke. It was pretty unfortunate. But as they loaded him on the ambulance, we all kind of stood around and prayed and just continued kind of singing a little and praying for him and praying for the family. And then not long after that, we got word that he didn't make it. Like he didn't make it. He went to the hospital, but he was gone. This older gentleman who was part of the crew, I don't really know what happened to him. We weren't quite sure, and maybe we'll find out more information soon in the next week or so as I follow up with all of them. But keep them in your prayers up there in Aberdeen. His name was Don, so pray for the family of Don and all of his friends. Turns out he was a believer. That's, at least some hope that, he gave his life recently to Jesus Christ, and he accepted Christ and accepted Jesus' gift of salvation. And so, yeah, his soul is secure in heaven. So, death is pretty tough. It's hard to process. It's not the way it's supposed to be. So, if you're out there and you've dealt with loss in your life, you've dealt with death, it's hard to accept. But just know that if you say yes to Jesus, your soul's secure and safe with him eternally. You can have eternal life through Jesus Christ and the gift of his salvation, and through his blood. Through his death, burial, and resurrection, he can now give you new life beyond this life. Because this life's short, So, all this to say, you never know what kind of opportunities you'll get on the road. You never know who you'll meet and what will happen. It's very unpredictable. But you do only get one life. You do only get this short little life, this short time on this earth, to make an impact in some way or another, even though we don't understand it, or even if we don't see all the impact that we make through music, or through just living your life for the glory of God, wherever he's put you. We don't know what the result of that is, but we can have security that we will someday know in the life to come. And there is a life to come. Thankfully, thanks be to God. Greater love has no man than this, that he laid down his life for his friends, is what Jesus says. And so, I don't know what to think of that. The man died for the cause. He died for the cause of sharing the gospel through music and serving others. So, this video is dedicated to Don and his family. And if you're out there, we're praying for you. And if you're on YouTube or whatever else, social media, please pray for them and the family. And be reminded that you have hope beyond this life. And our time here is very short. So make the most of it. Make it count. So best of luck to you out there as you pursue your music as well. And thanks for all your support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for your prayers. I hope that some of what I do or the music that I play or sing can encourage you in some way today. And stay tuned next time. And be blessed. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.